So, very quickly, the Balch article. Why would this crazy guy, theologian, ask you to read this article about the Magnificat and the production of corn? Well, first of all, I thought it was really well written, but it's in the application, right? Here's a writer that looks for points of connection between two things that on the surface may look like they are radically disconnected. But with the right kind of lens, right? We all have a lens by which we look at text. With the right kind of lens, the writer finds a way to connect the seemingly unconnected, which makes me think, how much else is connected that we're not even paying attention to? Okay, that's one thing. But that made me say, look, here's a way, John, in which your students could look at a text through a certain lens and see connectivity that you might not see, and thus enrich your own experience, your own interpretive experience. So I had you read Balch not because I'm concerned that you memorize everything about corn production and the equitable treatment of corn producers. I had you read that article because I wanted you to see ways in which these two disciplines could intersect. What are the questions that you specifically bring to the text, this text, a text that I'm looking at with my lenses on, and that you're looking at with your lenses on, and what is the enriching that happens? I can't tell you how excited I am to read your reflection essays and to read your article critiques. I want to see what that nursing lens brings. Now, there are going to be a lot of things that are just similar. We're going to say a lot of the same things, and you saw that in the first part of the Balch article, right, where it's just kind of this is how we think about this text. But then let's put on a new set of lenses and let's look at this text the same way. Or here's an experience, here's an event, here's something going on that this text could actually speak to. It's that kind of expansive view of the Bible and of interpreting this biblical literature that I find so intriguing. And sometimes, not only do we miss those connections, sometimes we dismiss connections between our own experience or some event that's happening or some problem, because we say, well, we approach the biblical text too rigidly. Well, this is the way it's been translated. This is the way we have theologized about it. Or we operate too quickly on assumptions. And it's that kind of thing that's led to some problems in biblical studies. We kind of have let the dominance of that historical critical method that I spoke about last week determine all the questions and thus limit the answers. Where several of the folks here at Azusa Pacific who are in the biblical studies department are really interested in doing post-colonial interpretations of the scriptures where we don't let the hegemony of white European male theologians dominate the conversation any longer, but we seek to tease out, listen to other voices. And that's part of what that article helps to do. It helps us to listen to other voices. So I put it out there for you to read, reflect on a little bit, because I want to see what your voice brings to the text, whether it's the text of that article or maybe the text here in the Bible or maybe something else. Maybe it's just an exercise you go through this time, but maybe 3 years from now you say, wait a minute, I remember doing some of this in that class, and it enriches your experience, your leadership, your patient care, your relationship with your spouse, something at that moment, at that time. We never can figure out exactly where these streams are going to take us. So that concludes the second week. I've tried to chunk these lectures up a little bit more finely for the ease of searching back and so forth. I hope it's benefited you, and look forward to talking with you next week.